That's the only muscle car I've ever owned in my life, and I loved that car. But there's no way I could have afforded it when I
Did
went
it
to
have an
college.
8-track?
It did not have an A-track. I had a cassette, and I actually put in. I had put in my own new stereo and speakers at the time. But I had saved enough. I remember this. It was $2,500, and I saved like 1,500, and it was enough for a down. And so we went and my parents were like, well, they were going to co-sign a loan for me to get for the pay for the balance, and did. And then I remember I kept bugging my dad all week. Have you heard? Have you heard it? No. So then they ended up surprising me. And I come home one day from school and it's sitting out there in front of my house, the car.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so my dad, and then that was my first experience with credit and with me, and paying off that loan of that car. And it was great. It was a great job, a great learning experience overall. And, but with a car with that engine that got 5 miles to the gallon in the city, I was not taking that thing to college. So,
Yeah. Now I
uh,
should probably start a podcast, My First Car.
hey, that would be a good one
But
too,
yeah,
actually.
because I mean, like you're bringing me back down memory lane. I had an '86 Pontiac that my grandmother owned, and everything was a bench seat. So if you wanted to move the seat up, you had to get the person next to you to like coordinate it with you.
Sure.
It didn't have a clock in it because she was afraid of technology.
Uh,
So I remember I went to a
she was
drugstore and I
afraid
got
of
like,
technology, so there was no
oh
clock.
yeah, yeah. There was
Wow.
no clock in it. So I didn't even know that that was an option. But so I remember like we had this taped on like digital clock from like a Rite Aid or something like that.
Yeah.
We had that taped on there. And I would, so my grandmother lived with us growing up, and I remember driving her around. And as I said, she was afraid of technology, and so like I couldn't even like change the station on the car because she was just like, "That's gonna crash the car" or whatever.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe mom knew something that we didn't, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but it was baby blue. It wasn't as cool as your car. It was just a baby blue old lady car.
Sure.
Um, but
But
I've
it's the only time though that ever since then, cars to me have just been a means to an end. When I growing up, before I even bought the first car, I was drawing hot rods all the time. I was really into cars. But after that El Camino, cars just became a means to an end. But again, that job though, um, was a great job. I learned a lot on that job and made some decent money, you know, in high school working there. I worked there up until my senior year, and then did some other things after that. But that was a great job, and but I'll never forget the split shifts though, because like riding my bike at the crack of dawn, 5:30 in the morning, to go there for that first shift, and then coming back and vegging out, and um, then going back at 3 and closing at 7.
it
It was
takes
a
up
good
your
job.
entire day.
It
Takes
was
up your
it
entire
was it was, but I mean, I was 15 and a half, 16, 17 years old. It's like in those summers, it was I was still hanging out with friends. I would still do stuff, go home and go swimming in the middle of the day because we had a pool. And growing up in the Central Valley of California, it's super freaking hot in the summer.